Though we have all traveled many uncertain roads, we have always recognized something wasn't right. We searched high and low, yet our paths had never intersected. Our desire to seek truth, then to speak true, has brought us all together. That thing of ours is rooted in truth, because truth is the only unshakable foundation. In the greatest book, it states in John 8:32, "For ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free."
Truth is a powerful force. It is the foundation on which all great achievements are built, and the bedrock of trust and respect in any relationship. When we are rooted in truth, we can be confident that our decisions and actions are grounded in reality rather than in speculation or wishful thinking.
The pursuit of truth is not always easy. It requires courage, perseverance, and a willingness to face uncomfortable facts. But in the end, the truth is always worth it. It allows us to make better decisions, to build stronger relationships, and to create a more just and equitable world.
From politics and world events to entertainment and pop culture, we've got you covered. We'll explore our history and the stories that matter to uncover the truth that lies at the heart of each one. With our fingers on the pulse of the news cycle, we'll provide the insights and analysis you need to stay informed and engaged. As we stay rooted in truth and let the truth guide us in all that we do, let us be willing to listen, to learn, and seek out the facts, even when they challenge our own assumptions or beliefs.
Let us never forget that the pursuit of truth is not just an individual endeavor, but a collective one. Only by working together
With honesty and integrity,
can we build a better future for ourselves
And for generations to come.
This is That Thing of Ours. How's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining us today on this Tuesday, February 25th, 2025. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and Pill.net. Oh, hold on. She's
about to
finishing
sneeze.
dinner.
No, I
Oh.
was about to sneeze. And if you haven't already, please take a minute and give us that virtual hug. If you're over on Rumble or YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on pill.net, take that red pill. If you're over on X, smash that heart. And if you're on Facebook, you're our family. We know you love to push some buttons, so head on over there and clickety-click away.
Clickety click, everybody. We appreciate you showing up, and it helps us out tremendously if you're hitting that thumbs up and share and like and subscribe and all those things. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
all that jazz. Anyways, yeah. So
All that jazz.
hit
we
the
got-
buttons.
We got Aaron in the house.
What's up, Aaron?
How you doing, little brother? We got F. Clint in the
Yo,
house.
what's going on, F. Clint?
We got Chachi in the house.
Hey, Chachi. Everybody's learning how to do dry rub or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got
Very good,
Angie
jeez.
in the house.
What's up, Ange?
Let's see. Got Miss Jenny in the house.
Jenny!
Watch out for the frogs, Jenny.
Watch out for the frogs, Jenny.
We got Miss Steph in the house.
Hey, Steph. What's going on?
We got Liberty in the house.
What's going on, Liberty? All right. I think that's it for right now. But people be rolling in.
They'll be rolling.
Rolling. Yeah. All right.
Oh, Aaron, thank
Hey,
you so much.
Thank you, Aaron. Have a beer after the show or buy some eggs. Maybe like 6 eggs. Yeah. Appreciate that. We appreciate it very much, Aaron. Thank you so much.
I know. We might be able to get 4 eggs.
It's something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got you.
So,
All right.
are you ready?
Are we?
There's some crazy stuff going on.
I know that there's some ridiculousness going on. And I also know that there's some good things happening too.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
There are. But let's start with the ridiculousness.
We should start with the ridiculous. Let me see if I can get this thing. Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, they're getting real crazy in Nevada.
Yeah, they're getting pretty stupid out here. Whew.
Yeah.
F. Glenn paid $16.49 for 18 eggs a day. Man.
Dang.
Plus
Dang.
tax.
Oh, plus tax.
Plus tax.
Wow.
Mr. Bougie Pants over there.
I know. Bougie with his eggs and stuff.
Not just a dozen. Not good. The dozen's not good enough. No, I got to buy 18 eggs.
He's got 18.
18 eggs.
Mr. Richie Rich.
Yeah. He knows what he's got.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Can you read that, please?
Dan Crenshaw says, if I ever meet Tucker Carlson, I'll fucking kill him. I'm not joking. Why? Why are you so stressed, bro?
You ready?
Yeah.
Let's listen.
Calm down, man.
Just coming back to this $100 billion to Ukraine, I know that people like Tucker Carlson would make the argument there's a real opportunity cost there. You know, we could have spent that money on the border or fixing, issues in America. Yeah. What do you make of that argument that all this money could have been spent to help Americans, not Ukrainians?
Oh, you can walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. We spend 75-80% of our budget on a welfare state in America, on Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. I would love to ask Tucker what he thinks that $100 billion should be spent on, and if he would vote for it as a conservative. Tucker doesn't know what he's talking about. Tucker likes to visit Moscow and talk about how great the grocery stores are. So I don't really take his advice very seriously.
Thank you. Have you ever met Tucker?
We've talked a lot. I ever meet him, I'll find him. He's the worst person.
If I ever meet him, I'll find him. If I ever meet him, I'll find him. If I ever meet him, I'll find him.
Thoughts?
All right. So not a good look for any congressperson to talk that way about a member of the press, the actual press especially. Yeah, that's really bad.
Yeah.
It's what are we supposed to say about that? And notice he was trying to deflect. So the deflection tells me that he's hiding something in there because he redirects the conversation to something that makes him look like a good guy. Typical politician. Absolutely amazing. Can't believe the guy's still in office. Wonder how he stays there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Can you read that, please?
Kristi Noem knows who some of the ICE leakers are, and they're getting fired.
Let's listen.
Mm-hmm.
I have found some leakers. We are continuing to get more. They will be fired. There will be consequences. And remember, when they leak information to the press in order to blow an op, they are putting law enforcement lives in jeopardy. They are risking their lives and putting their families in the position where they'll have to live without those individuals any further. So you bet we have used every tactic that we have. If you remember, we talked just last week about how I'm using polygraphs to go after and to really interview these folks because we are a national security agency. I have that tool I can use. Also looking at their emails, looking at their communications. And it's amazing how these bureaucrats who have an agenda to stop the work that we're doing to bring safety to America, how they will sell each other down the river if it's just to protect themselves. So don't worry, I am doing everything to find these leakers and to get rid of them so that we can do our work and our law enforcement officers and agents can do it safely.
Thoughts?
All right. So the leakers, of course, I think we're all pretty much on the same sheet of music about what these leakers are. And I think that they're traitors because they are jeopardizing, like she said, national security interests for the sake of their own personal political agenda, which means that they never should have been in the positions that they're at because they're just political hacks as opposed to people who are actually trying to make the country better. They feel like they know better than everybody else. And so screw you if this isn't the way that you like it because I'm a special little snowflake and I'm going to leak to the press, who is also complicit in the treason against the national sovereignty of our nation. Again, immigrants don't come to your country and wave their former country's flag. No, those would be invaders. So you are supporting an invading army and should be dealt with accordingly. I don't think getting fired is anywhere near enough. I think prison time for jeopardizing law enforcement officers would be a good start. And then maybe we can go from there in terms of trying to pick out, what the other crimes against the people of the United States should be, because they abused their positions of trust. And that's why they are the very reason why nobody trusts their government anymore, especially when they're all about democracy. And democracy said, we're sick and tired of the way those people have been doing shit. Yeah, exactly, Aaron. I believe it to be treason as well, but I'm not a lawyer. So there's that. I guess those are questions the lawyers have to come up with, but certainly seems to me that it is treason as well. So
My Rumble's being silly.
your Rumble is acting up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, get it together, Rumble. What's up,
know.
Agent Smith? How you doing, man?
Yeah, exactly. Hi, Agent Smith. I hope you had a fabulous Taco Tuesday. Can you read that, please?
Kristi Noem touts effectiveness of ads DHS is playing. I can't read that now.
Sorry.
Ads DHS is playing to warn the world not to come here illegally. Okay, now what was being popped up there? Leakers that cause an ICE operative to be killed in duty should be executed along with the illegal that does it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's just
Yeah.
a good start.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's listen.
All right.
We just broke a 15-year record in the lowest number of encounters at the southern border, 200 in one day, where Joe Biden, they were 15,000 a day. So it's been amazing what these ads and what President Trump has already done.
Where are you airing them, or on what platforms?
So we're airing them domestically about people. You just saw that message that you played that said, if you are here and you're here illegally, go home now. You will get the chance to come back. But if you have to wait until we deport you, you will never return. But we also are airing them across the world, telling people in the Middle East and Central America, a lot of these countries where we've had people coming from, we're airing it in their home countries, telling them, stay where you are. Don't come here. America is not open at our borders anymore, that we put Americans first, and this president is going to make America stronger.
Thoughts?
All right, so that's straight out of the psychological operations manual. You communicate to the people that you are up against, and this is perfect. It's beautiful, and it sounds like it's actually working. It's being done well, and that is, I have absolutely no problem with that thought process. If you are here illegally, you go back across the border, and then you apply to come back across now. After you have gotten everything squared away, you apply, you come back in, you can actually stay. As opposed to if you make us come to your door and snatch you up, then you will never come back. You won't even be allowed to vacay here anymore.
Right?
You know,
Nothing.
Nothing. Don't even look at the don't even look at the airplane terminal that leads to the US.
Nope.
Because you shouldn't be here. Don't even look at the border. You just move on. Because
Move
along because you wanted to invade. That really is the difference. If you care about this place and you want to be here, then do it legally. I have no problem with immigration whatsoever. That would be quite hypocritical of me. And not only that, it would be anti-biblical because they tell us to care for the immigrants. But
do it the right way.
They cross the line from immigrants to invaders when they do it illegally. Because if the first act that you make is to come here illegally, then you're not planning on doing anything the right way. You are an invader. The end. F. Clint says, I insist Kristi needs a Xena type outfit.
I agree.
Yeah, that's the DTOO After Dark, F. Clint.
Yeah. We got to get those emojis done for our channel.
I know. What do you want from me?
Yeah.
I am not a computer person.
We got to figure it out.
I am an analog man in a digital world.
You know what? Stop it.
Okay.
You do a lot of good stuff.
I do, but it's not digital.
Are you ready for some Kelly?
Yeah, we could probably use some Kelly.
Let's listen.
All right.
You know, nobody ever wakes up and says, you know what? I want to get as far away from God today as I possibly can. Nobody ever says, you know what? I want to start being a drug addict today. You know, I think I'll just start having an affair. And nobody ever wakes up and says, you know what? I think I'm going to eat so much today that I weigh 400 pounds. But the truth is, that last one, that's where I found myself a few years ago. I woke up one day and I thought, how did I get like this? How did I let this get so bad? And you see, the truth is, Your enemy, the devil, hates you. Look, Satan is real. And if you have Jesus living on the inside of you, you've got a target on your back. And as much as we would like to think that the devil just comes at you attacking you hardcore all day long, it's not how it works. You see, the Bible says the enemy comes and he sifts you away little by little. You do understand that's how he works, right? If he came at you all guns blazing Mad Max style, you would see that coming and stop him from attacking you. But instead, he lies to you. You can text your old girlfriend from high school. Just say hi. Let her know you've been thinking about her. That's all right. You're just reconnecting with an old friend. So you text for a while. We should meet up and have lunch. It'd be great to see you. Oh man, I didn't realize we had so much in common. I've missed you so much. You see where I'm going with this? The devil knows that he can sift you little by little, an inch or two at a time. One day you will wake up so far from God. You'll never know how you got there. Yeah, I woke up one day and weighed 400 pounds. And I'm not blaming the devil for that. That was my fault. The devil knows where you struggle, so he offers you temptation in that area. And if we are not watching, staying prepared, guarding our hearts and our mind, we are open to deception and attacks of the devil. I'm telling you all this for 3 reasons today. 1, if you know how the enemy is coming to attack you, you can stay on guard and prevent the attack. I want to encourage some of you today. That little thing that you've been thinking about, that you know isn't right, that you know isn't God's best for you, don't open the door to it no matter how small it is. You've got time right now to stop this before you wake up one day without any idea how you got there. And 2, maybe today this is where you find yourself. You woke up today and you have no idea how you got to where you are. All you know is it's so far from where you want to be. The good news is realizing it is the first step. And the truth is, it doesn't matter how far away you got from God, you're only one step back. He never left you. He's ready and waiting for you to run to him right now, to start the process to get back to where you need to be. Yeah, it's going to be a process, but you don't have to go through it alone. He's going to walk through it with you and get you right where you need to be. And the third reason I'm making this video is because so many of you keep writing and asking me if I'm okay. You're looking a little too thin. Are you sick? Do you have cancer? What are you doing to lose all the weight? You see, I did wake up one day and realize I was 400 pounds, and it was affecting everything in my life. The way I felt physically, the way I felt mentally, it was preventing me from spending time with my kids. The devil was using that to rob me of everything good God had for me. So I took responsibility. I changed my diet, started eating right, got in the gym and started working out. And after a little over a year, I lost 150 pounds. But then I got stuck. I did the roller coaster thing, 250, 275, 260, 270, 250. So I finally decided to get some help. Some of you may remember in September, I told you guys to please pray for me. I was having a surgery. That surgery was the gastric sleeve. I weighed 275 the day of the surgery. And today, 186, son. Are you kidding me, man? I haven't weighed that since like 3rd grade. And yes, I feel so much better. I feel better physically. I feel better mentally. My kids and I are having a blast. God is good. So for those of you who were worried about me and checking on me, I'm doing amazing. And thank you so much. But remember, the enemy's plan is to kill, steal, and destroy you. And he'll do it any way he can. But he's not coming all guns blazing. He just wants to sift you a little each day. But you don't have to let him. Stay on guard today. Guard your heart. Guard your mind. Get into his word and stay close to your Father. Yeah, the enemy's plan is to kill, steal, and destroy you. But your Father's got a plan for you too. And his plan is to see you prosper in every season of your life. And all you got to do to get it is think about that for a minute.
Thoughts?
All right. So before we get into the whole Kelly thing, Aaron had said, so like 2 or 3 months ago, after it was confirmed Trump was number 47, there were reports on X of immigrants renting cars and taking them to Mexico, stealing the cars. Actually, I think I do remember that now that I think about it a little bit. It's mildly amusing. Lord knows that rental car companies aren't exactly on the up and up in the way they deal with everything anyways. So, you know, everything happens for a reason, right? But you know, hey, it makes the wheels of the economy go around, and maybe those insurance companies will finally be able to pay somebody out, because Lord knows they ain't been paying anybody out in Hawaii or in the Carolinas or in LA or anywhere else. So yeah, maybe
Yeah.
they'll actually take care of the megacorps that are owned by the same East India Trading Company that owns everything else. Anyways, back to what Kelly was talking about. Let's see. Chops actually had said it's a challenge to stay healthy of mind, body, and spirit in the world today. Agreed. This world is filled with challenges, but I think that that's kind of the point of the world that we live in, is that we are given that free will, and with that free will, obviously there will be people who decide to go with their fleshly desires, be it food or whatever those desires are, and so it's up to us to try to fight that battle. And that battle that we're fighting is with ourselves. And we have so much that we have to do to overcome all of these challenges. But as we overcome these challenges, we see lots of success and tremendous changes happen, like we observed with Kelly. Yeah, he got the sleeve. And I don't think that's cheating. I think that would be it would be, in my mind, the way it would work is it would be like if you steal, you cut your hand off so that way you don't steal ever again. Or if your eye betrays you, you pluck your eye out. And so therefore it is an attempt by the person to make sure that they are right living.
And I'm going to say it's not cheating, guys. Hey, Carol. Because your girl here.
Okay, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had gastric bypass back in 2001. And when I had it, I found out that all of the nerves sat at the top of my stomach. And so even though I never ate that much to begin with, I always felt hungry. And so my body always thought I was in starvation mode.
Because
so
she never got she never got the full feeling.
And so I did what I had to do. And very proud of myself.
Yeah, she always wears tents. It's
I
annoying.
do.
Yeah.
She
still has
an
poor body image, no matter what I say.
I wear an extra small shirt, but this is an extra large hoodie. So, but it's comfortable.
Yeah. Anyway.
But I don't think it's cheating.
I don't think it's cheating.
I think
it hasn't been easy.
Had to do.
Yeah, it hasn't been easy for you. It's not been a walk in the park by any stretch of the imagination. So I think it's a good thing. Everybody's on their own journey, and we got to figure out how we can best do that. And so Kelly sharing his testimony there that's pretty interesting. I never would have guessed. Like, I knew he lost weight because when we first started showing Kelly and all of the amazing teachings that man provides, he's lost some weight since we first started watching him. So he's been on his journey for a while, and I think it's great. I think it's great that he's doing it.
Well, of course God's got you, Don, and we got you too, and we love you, and we're glad that you guys are going home and gonna get to relax. Just know that each and every one of us here love you with all of our hearts. Are you ready?
Yes.
This is very interesting. Are you sure you're ready?
Trump's pick for FBI's number 2 is called on Trump to ignore the courts. Ooh,
let's listen.
That's strong.
But if I may address one issue, you just denigrated Bongino's law enforcement credentials. He was a cop and a Secret Service agent. You denigrated his academic credentials. He has a master's degree.
Just because he was a police officer doesn't make him qualified to run a 38,000 person, $11 billion budget agency, just like Pete Egg said.
But you know what does? Because he
National Guardsman or everyone doesn't either. Thank you for your
confidence
service.
and the pleasure of the president.
And I'm sorry that terrible.
And I'm sorry that you are not yet over the outcome of the election.
No, because look at what's happening to our country, and I'll never be over it, Scott. This is dismantling our democracy in front of our eyes, and you guys are okay with it.
We had a city that was smaller than the amount of people that live on this block, and he was the Secretary of Transportation. You had the guy who was stealing luggage. I mean, I think anyone who's defending the Biden administration.
But this is the FBI.
So, and this is someone who has a career in law enforcement for many years.
Does Dan Bongino have the qualifications to be the second person in charge of the FBI?
Yes, He has law enforcement, he has academic, and again, let me just stress this. I've mentioned
So when
this
you
before.
stack up
They
his
serve at the
credentials
pleasure of the
against-
president.
So-
That's the
okay,
political appointment.
I know that that is the answer to every question, is that Donald Trump wants it, so therefore it is good.
For political
But
appointments,
but
yes.
when we look at, we're talking about people who are qualified and not, and you look at his resume and compare it to Republican and Democrat nominees for that same position, is he qualified?
I mean, first of all, I'm not sure all the people that have been appointed in the past have covered themselves in glory. And some of them have done a terrible job and gotten in lots of trouble.
Look,
and this is a
I wanna get
reform-minded
to-
administration.
I wanna
They got
get to
outsiders.
one of-
Thoughts?
Wow. And why is that woman culturally appropriating a white hairdo? Oh, F. Clan, you're awesome. All right. So, yeah, again, she doesn't understand democracy because what percent of the population said that they wanted Trump? It was 4% or something like that? Yeah, democracy in action. Sorry you don't like democracy. You keep talking about it so much. But also, since we're not a democracy, President Trump is still authorized to do the exact things that he's doing because he's the head of the executive branch.
So how about if you go over there in the corner
There you
and
go, Liberty.
sit
Thank
the hell down
Yeah.
and shut up?
There you go. Liberty says 77%. Thank you. I knew it was something huge. I just couldn't
Yeah.
remember. It's well over the barrier for democracy for them to shut their face because they don't know what they're talking about. And so
Shut your soup cooler.
I got other words, but yeah.
I could have said that one too.
Yeah, they need to shut their soup cooler and yeah, exactly, Jenny. Oh,
Thank
I
you,
feel you on
Jenny.
this one. Still trying to help the democracy people understand that even under democracy, this works. They still don't understand how democracy works. But
They're
anyways,
not very bright.
no, they're not. No, they just have talking points.
Mhm.
And even though they're on the press, it's amazing they have such little understanding about how the country works. They
Right.
just want their free ride because I'm sure that the money spigot has started to simmer down quite a bit.
Yeah.
And they have no choice because they know that once everything is done, they're going to be out of a job. Maybe they can learn to code.
Right?
Just an idea. I hear it's rewarding.
Ugh.
That's what Biden said.
Yeah. Are you ready?
Yes.
Can you read that, please?
Byron Donalds explains why Democrats love the bloat and waste that DOGE is uncovering.
Let's listen.
Good DOGE.
No, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with this very simple thing. They love the massive bloat and waste because it's like you said, Mark, they get to fit all of their little pet projects underneath the covers where nobody can see it. You got Stacey Abrams and one of her climate fund groups is supposed to get $2 billion when if you look at their tax returns, their revenue is only $100 and they're getting $2 billion. This is the kind of stuff. They're so upset about Elon Musk and the DOGE team having access to the Internal Revenue Service data into the Treasury payment system. But there's a report that came out the other day that under Joe Biden, he let 53 researchers and students, unpaid people, go in and actually have full access to the data of the American people at the IRS. Joe Biden's administration let that happen. So they have no problem with the waste and the fraud and the abuse as long as their special interest groups are being funded and their ideology is being promoted regardless of the will of the American people. But our country can't simply survive that. We are very thankful that Donald Trump and his team are saying enough is enough. They are going to save this nation for the American people and begin the process of restoring a constitutional republic.
Oh, look, he knows what we are.
No, well, he understands. Yeah.
Thoughts?
He gets the concept and he said it in a very, I guess, political lawyer kind of way. I mean, I don't think he's a lawyer, but either way, that's the way lawyers say it. So fancy way of saying the exact same thing that we've all been saying this entire time. And that is these people have been stealing the money and they don't like the fact that people are finding out what their scam against the people of the United States is. And it compares in no way whatsoever in terms of what President Trump is doing. He's just using the tactics, techniques, and procedures that the left has been using to steal all of our money and our data and our livelihoods so that way they could enrich themselves. Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
You ready? Can you read that, please?
Representative Eric Swalwell accused of being compromised by lobbyists trying to cheat on his wife again.
Let's listen.
Congressman Eric Swalwell has been accused of getting drunk with some lobbyists that he just met, spilling some intimate details to them that he probably shouldn't have, and then asking them for assistance in cheating on his wife. This comes to us from independent journalist Nick Sortor, who was apparently sitting right next to him at the time and who confronted him after the fact. We will play that confrontation here in a bit, but first let's get into the details from Sortor himself. Eric Swalwell panics when I ask about his Chinese spy girlfriend Fang Fang and whether that's a bigger national security threat than Elon Musk. I sit next to a drunk Swalwell at dinner for 90 minutes. He was immediately compromised by a group of lobbyists he just met, spilling intimate details about his job and asking for help, cheating on his wife. Massive national security threat. This guy should have his clearance revoked. Swalwell spent his dinner bragging about orgies on Capitol Hill, telling them he's bored of his wife and only wants to have sex with, quote unquote, tens. Worse, he spoke about abusing his power on the House Intel Committee, which he has since been booted off of, saying he pushed to subpoena Ivanka Trump because she's hot as blank. This guy must be removed from the Homeland Security Committee. He cannot keep his freaking mouth shut. After I began questioning him, Swalwell jumped back into the group of lobbyists to hide from me, but I pressed on. Dude looked absolutely terrified and 100% guilty. He knows he's been caught. More to come later. I have about an hour and a half of audio to go through. And big shout out to Laura Loomer for assisting with the digging into this clown while I focused on listening in. Here's the video.
So, Congressman, you referred to Elon Musk as a fascist at some point and alluded to him being a national security threat. Do you see that more of a national security threat, you sleeping with a Chinese spy, than transparency in the federal government? What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that? What's Fang Fang think of that?
What are you doing?
I mean, what's fascistic about exposing government corruption? I mean, I know you're just at dinner now with a bunch of lobbyists. You know, they're buying you a bunch of booze, and you know that's awfully nice. I know you were talking about, maybe finding somebody else because you only like the people that are tens. I just heard that one too. So what do you think about that? Do you want to comment on any of it? Elon Musk is a national security threat, but you sleeping with a Chinese spy is not. Is that correct? You don't want to comment on that at all?
Nothing.
Looks like guilty as charged.
Oh boy. Yeah. I mean, it's standard operating procedure for a member of Congress to run away when approached by journalists, that especially ones that are adversarial to them. But with that said, he did seem to have a sort of air of, oh crap, what did I say while I was standing next to this guy? I wonder if he was recording when I was talking all that other trash. I mean, at the very least, he's almost certainly going to be in trouble with his wife if all this pans out. Should he get in trouble for other things? We will see. We will keep an eye and an ear on this story, especially as soon as Mr. Sortor publishes all the rest of the dirt that he was able to collect on the compromised congressman.
And compromised he is.
Thoughts?
A piece of trash. Got caught up in a freaking a Chinese honeypot trap. Whatever. And then he's going to sit there. What defense does he have? Right? We understand that now the President Trump's taken over and the FBI is getting cleaned out and actual investigations are going on. Do we have anything
Department of Homeland Security?
Yeah, Homeland Security. What is it? Oh, geez. Launches investigation into Comey. Do we have anything about?
No, I don't.
Okay. So, and that's another thing is the FBI launched an investigation into James Comey as of this afternoon. And they're going to be nervous. So what do? Well, admit to nothing, deny everything, make counter accusations. That's what you do when you're caught like this, right? I mean, God forbid that you'd have any integrity whatsoever and say, okay, I made a mistake. And you know what? I can't control myself and I keep getting compromised by foreign nations. So therefore, maybe I should step down. I mean, there are other options, but I guess the love of money and power, because you go into Congress to make all the money, right? That's where you go. If you can't play football, you go into Congress so that way you can be a multimillionaire in a couple of years. Yeah. I don't think that's how it works, but that's the way it's been working regardless. I guess he's just thinking with the wrong head.
Exactly. We're going for a walk.
Oh, we're going for a walk. All right.
Okay.
We're going to the grocery store with Steph. We're going for a walk with Aaron.
I know, we're busy.
We're busy today.
You ready?
Yeah.
Can you read that, please?
All right. Before leaving, the Biden regime granted former Spanish teacher $20 million for environmental justice.
Yeah. But before that, Chachi says these guys should be hiding out. Feels like they're being forced to look stupid.
Chachi, I have believed that for so long because at a certain point in time, you feel a lot of these people would just recognize when enough is enough and they go off into, Neverland, whatever that is. But yeah, they seem to keep sticking around and keep getting embarrassed. I wonder what the, I guess that there's got to be some kind of benefit to that, huh?
Right. Let's listen.
Latricia Adams. She was an advisor to the Biden White House. How she got that job, I have no idea. The Free Beacon reports that while she was working as a White House advisor, our friend Latricia applied for a contract. And not just any contract, a $20 million contract. This $20 million contract was for environmental justice. And right before Biden leaves office, he gives this $20 million contract to Latricia. Her group, Young, Gifted, and Green, got the $20 million, more like Young, Grifted, and Green. Does Latricia have any background in environmental science? No, not really. 10 years ago, Latricia was a high school Spanish teacher. She has a bachelor's in Spanish. She's based in Memphis, Tennessee.
Thoughts?
You can't write this.
I know.
I mean, why would anybody write this? It seems so just out of the, nowhere. Okay, so we're going to give $20 million to somebody who doesn't know anything about what they're doing, right? And they don't even have education. They don't have experience. They're just there and magically get plucked like some kind of little magic fairy tale where, a Tinkerbell came out of the sky and waved her little magic wand and bling. And then all of a sudden, poof, you get $20 million. I'm sure that there was nothing done as some kind of, favor or anything.
No, not at all.
I highly doubt that money was redirected into places that she may or may not have been told. She was probably just told where to put it, and she found herself in a really bad spot because millions of dollars sounded like a good deal. Yeah.
Wonder how many new houses she owns.
Yeah. Sure are a lot more questions with that article than there are answers. They're writing to wake up 80 to 95 IQ people. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I know. And then they're going to mock Trump for talking the way he does. But when he talks like a well-educated man that he is, that does multinational business deals, most people aren't prepared to even understand what he's talking about.
Exactly.
So, I guess we got to make it simple for people.
Yep.
If it's too good of a deal, then it's probably too good to be true.
Yeah. You ready? Let's listen.
All right.
When you're with the right one, they make you better. You realize I'm better when I'm with this person. They bring out something in me that I didn't have in me. They are able to tame the beast in me. That's when you know I got the right one.
Thoughts?
Birds of a feather flock together, and we should always make sure that we are picking and choosing the people that we are around on a regular basis. It is important. It is important for us to be selective with the people that we have in our life. Not only are people out there that will try to take advantage of you and make your life miserable, but if you hang around people that aren't, I guess, challenging you to achieve your best, if you aren't around people who can see something in you that you can't see in yourself, then you never give yourself that opportunity to grow. So it's extremely important that we do surround ourselves with the people that try to build us up instead of trying to break us down. Too many people in life are so small-minded, and they are willing to make other people's lives miserable just so that they can feel better. So it is important for us to make sure that, especially those that, we choose to spend the rest of our lives with, are the very people who are trying to encourage us, to support us, and to take our ball and run with us. Or they don't have to take our ball, but we take our ball and they're right alongside you, making sure that you're making it to the goal line. That's what we should be looking for in the people that we keep around us.
Yeah.
Chop says, we, the old people, don't believe in climate change because we've seen the last 50 years of hoaxes. Boy, isn't that the truth? And I guess that takes us back to the other conversation. And I'm glad you brought that up. Could you put that back up?
Oh, yes.
Thank you. It's the whole climate change, like the global climate cooling because of all of the smoke in the air was a little bit before my time. But I do distinctly remember why we don't have Aquanet anymore. And that's because of the CFCs that were in the can, had to change all the Freon and get away from all the things that were, so that way we could get all these new fancy versions of the exact same thing that we had before, which surprisingly isn't really much any better for the environment. I mean, yeah, Freon was really bad, and maybe changing to something else was probably a better idea. But the same people who made the Freon are the same people who have been poisoning everything, and they probably just found a way to make some other chemical concoction, when in all actuality it should be a lot more simple. But there's money to be made, so yeah, you got to sell it to people some way, somehow, especially with how expensive this stuff keeps getting more and more expensive all the time. Yeah, interesting.
Exactly.
Jenny says, careful who you follow or allow at your table. Amen. Hey, Carol, there you are.
Carol.
Mike says, can't soar with the eagles if you're pecking with the chickens.
Exactly.
100%, Mike. 100%. Hey, Red Ant, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yes. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's listen.
All right.
This week at the White House, we celebrated 1 month of putting you, the American people, first. Let's roll through the biggest and most historic wins in this week's MAGA Minute. On the border, President Trump signed the Laken-Riley Act into law. We've seen nearly 95% drop in the number of U.S. Border Patrol encounters on our southern border. And our efforts have been so successful, they've caused the shuttering of migrant shelters and would-be illegal immigrants to return home before even attempting to enter our country. On the economy, DOGE has cut billions of dollars of fraud, waste, and abuse throughout the entire federal government. The president established an Energy Dominance Council, unbanned offshore drilling, and has instructed our federal government to drill, baby, drill. He also imposed reciprocal tariffs that finally put American interests first. The president also created a working group to investigate politically motivated lawfare, put an end to men and women's sports, fired the Kennedy Center board, go woke, go broke, we're going to make it great again, and has essentially ended DEI throughout our federal government.
Beautiful.
It's been a historic and successful first month here at the White House. We'll see you for next week's MAGA Minute.
All right.
Thoughts?
So that was a pretty long list, a longer list than what we normally get after a president's first 100 days. Yet this is the first month, and we look forward to so much more. And the hits are just going to keep on coming. And with putting Bongino in place now, with all of the people that are getting put into place, it's going to be the Hydra that they aren't going to be able to deal with, and they won't be able to keep all of the graft and corruption that they've been running with for so long. There will finally be an opportunity for people to see the truth and the way things should work. And once people get to see the way things should work, then I am quite confident that more and more people, or as we get closer, let me say it's a better way, as we get closer to the way the government should work, more and more people will be able to finally understand and comprehend the things that they've been getting told for so many years, but they were so smart that they never had to listen to anybody else. But now they're finally being forced to listen to other people, which is a good change, because Lord knows against our will, we've had to live the way the people on the extreme left have been running this nation into the ground. And now they're actually going to see the way the country's supposed to be run.
Yeah.
Aaron says it's going to be done slow, or the BLM crew will burn shit down without the USAID money. They're mercenaries. They're not going to do anything if they're not getting paid.
Yeah.
Unless they are cornered and they have no other choice, I have a feeling that they'll just give up. I don't see the wherewithal to support something that nobody likes or cares about, and you had to get paid to be an agitator and set cities on fire before. I have a feeling a lot of those kinds of people are going to say, you know what, I kind of got away with a lot here, and I'm going to hope that I continue to, and that they're not going to go through everybody's phones and find out who was there.
Exactly, Don. Amen. You ready?
Yes.
I got Lloyd Brunson, and he's talking about the constitutional clause that ends taxation.
You know, that man put up a fight, as best a fight as he possibly could, and he made it to the Supreme Court a couple of times. I supported that man so much, and I'm glad to see that he's still doing, you know, the Constitution thing.
Yep.
Glad to see him again. Yes, ma'am.
Hey, hi, everybody. It's Lloyd Brunson. Another discovery in the Constitution that is not published out there and focused on is, well, you can put it like this. In order to understand the fundamentals of the Constitution, which its main purpose is really to protect your money, your property, your life, everything about what your rights connect to. But Article 1, Section 8 in the Constitution gives the power of money creation to the Congress. And guess what? The Congress doesn't have it anymore. Where did it go? They gave it to the Federal Reserve System in 1913 with the Federal Reserve Act of 1913. So in order to really understand the Constitution, we've got to understand the basic, and they're simple to understand, fundamentals of the Federal Reserve System. That's nonprofit. And what they're supposed to be doing is when they create $1 trillion, they're supposed to hand it over to Congress, not loan it to Congress. And boy, have they pulled one on us. And I've talked about this before, how they're loaning our own money to us. So the Federal Reserve System creates all the currency except for coins, all the paper money they basically own, and they're loaning it to Congress, and Congress is letting them get away with that. Well, I think that's going to come to an end with what Elon, I hope you're listening, is doing. And so another thing that's interesting having to do with that is the Bureau of Engraving and Printing prints paper money. That is a government institution. That's a government agency. And every $100 bill, every bill they print, they sell exclusively only to the Federal Reserve System at cost of paper and ink. So think about that. Thanks for listening.
All right.
Thoughts?
So, surprise, the Federal Reserve's been stealing our money. How many of y'all are shocked? Probably none, would be my guess. Chachi says, I wouldn't rule out that the Brunson stuff is gone for good, especially since Bondi, Cash, and Bongino are at the helm now. Agreed. SCOTUS may be saving it for a timed release. Just a gut feeling. I think that everything is going to be a timed release moving forward. You got to make sure that all the parts and pieces are in place before you go about just doing stuff willy-nilly. But I think that the groundwork was laid beforehand, so that way it would give people something. I mean, the cases that the Brunsons did, they were just kind of shuttered, but he was kind of standing out there. And so I'm truly happy to see, he's still talking. And I think that that information that he was sharing before and the lawsuit that he was bringing to the Supreme Court will be heard again. Yeah. But there's more and more talk about the Federal Reserve System, more and more talk about how the amendment wasn't done properly, that it was never really voted on in a proper way. And I'm sure that there can be shown some kind of coercion to make sure that it went through. And I think another state came in and then they voted. And then finally it all got done years and years later, when the American people never really wanted the Federal Reserve to begin with. It was something that was forced upon us. And so since this was forced upon us, and I don't think anybody alive right now had any say whatsoever as to what was going on back then, because it was so long ago. And so with that understanding, from my perspective, what I believe is that it was fraudulent to begin with, and that those who own the Federal Reserve are personally liable because they were clearly involved. There's enough circumstantial evidence that a case could be made that all of it should be undone, and that seizures, clawbacks from all of that money that Congress hasn't been doing because they were corrupted, probably like Swalwell or whatever. They compromise these people, and hey, you're just going to vote on this. That's all I want. And that's the problem. We used to have an understanding that our politicians were human beings and that they weren't saints. We don't have very many saints in this world today. And so I'm going to say that we need to not worry so much about what they're doing in the background. It should solely be focused and specifically focused on their voting record. That's what we should care about. But we've gotten into this whole Jerry Springer mindset where we got to worry about everything else that has absolutely nothing to do with what we expect them to do in their job as elected officials. We got a long ways to go, folks. But we actually have that chance now. And if the Federal Reserve gets taken down, and the only reason why I'm thinking that this is a possibility is simply because of the amount of, I don't want to say propaganda, but counter information to everything we've ever been told about the Federal Reserve, leads me to believe that the Federal Reserve's days are numbered. Talk about, the gold missing from Fort Knox, all of these things. Anyways, Chop says, his case can still be brought to a full committee in SCOTUS. It is in limbo, not dead. Exactly. It's still kind of in a limbo state. Hope says, I think Durham report will still be something. Timing. I think that the Durham report is what's leading what they're doing. Obviously, the investigation's been done for a long time with John Durham. And I believe that they understood. Okay, so deep into conspiracy world, backtracking a little bit here. So Durham report came in, they were watching, they saw that the election was stolen, but the National Command Authority was kind of separated from what was going on, let them kind of control what's going on, but preventing any real disasters. Also, to explain why we had to watch Biden fall so many times, why so many things that just didn't make any sense were happening. And so I believe that, again, it was all a giant sting operation in the middle of World War III, while it has been going on for all these years, that it's all got to find its way to the light some way, somehow. And I believe that the Durham report that was done has been getting utilized in the background in the shadow war that's been happening this whole time. Aaron says, amen, Angie, from your mouth to God's ears.
Angie says, justice is coming. Nothing can stop what is coming.
Nothing. Except for the cat yelling. I guess that's what's coming.
It's not ours, though.
Scott, who other cats are going to be in here yowling?
No, it's outside.
Oh, okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Can you read that, please?
Records show pressure from Trader Joe's Health and Human Services to protect gender-affirming care for minors.
Let's listen.
Sick people.
This memo is from Health and Human Services, the Office of Civil Rights, and it's their notice and guidance on gender-affirming care, civil rights, and patient privacy. What message was sent by this Health and Human Services memo?
So the message from this memo is that anyone who interferes with the administration of quote unquote gender affirming care is going to become a target of the federal government, that they're going to use the entirety of their power and authority to target people who get in the way of their political goals.
This memo was a green light by the Biden administration to prosecutors to manipulate HIPAA in exactly the way that we're talking about.
What you're alleging in this case is that the law was being used by the Justice Department to protect doctors and the hospitals.
It was shocking, and it was, trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. HIPAA is intended to protect patient privacy. It's not designed to protect billion-dollar hospital corporations, but that's what they were using it for.
Two people standing out there, they show me their badges, tell me that they're with Health and Human Services and that they're investigating a case regarding medical records. And in that moment, I knew exactly what they were there for. And Andrea gives me one look and she says, we have to go talk privately. So we walk over to our bedroom and she tells me that we should not speak with them without an attorney present. But before they leave, they give me a target letter.
Well, I've got the target letter right here. The federal agents give you this target letter. And it says this office is involved, that's the U.S. Attorney's Office in Texas, in an investigation dealing with federal law violations. You are a potential target in this criminal investigation. That means that you are the focus of a criminal investigation. Andrea, you know that there's serious legal risk.
So I knew the minute that we received that target letter that everything was going to change.
Thoughts?
So you mean to tell me that there were corrupt law enforcement officials enforcing something that an overwhelming majority of the American people don't give a shit about?
Yeah.
Other than the fact that it's wasting our taxpayer dollars?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Wow. Color me shocked.
Right?
Wow. Absolutely amazing. But these
more
are the things.
More of this is going to keep coming out.
Oh, yeah.
That the bullshit Biden administration was doing.
The Biden administration did us a huge favor by allowing these clowns to be as tyrannical as they could possibly be, to make them show their true colors.
Yeah.
So that way, when real investigations happen and these people are found out and they're brought to justice, that they will understand and they will actually have to live the way they wanted people to live that had a different opinion than they do in a country where free thought is supposed to actually be a primary thing of ours.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we were founded for, was free thought and free will. And these people feel like they can tell everybody, yes, these other people have free will and you have to celebrate them and pay for their lifestyle choices.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how anybody was able to sell that to themselves and make it make sense, because you cannot make that thought process make sense to me.
No.
I've tried. It doesn't work.
It doesn't at all.
So,
you ready?
Yeah.
Can you read that, please?
This kid's smarter about tariffs than any Democrat in D.C.
You ready?
That's not hard to do.
Let's listen.
All right.
Liberals are freaking out about tariffs. I'm just a kid, and I even know that tariffs can be very good for an economy. Did you know that Andrew Jackson, the only president to pay down the national debt, did it using zero income tax and having only tariffs? Liberals would rather tax citizens on their income and possessions than tariff international organizations. Tariffs, yes. Taxes, no.
Thoughts?
I mean, our country is ran off of tariffs and no taxes more often than not.
Hey, Ange.
Hey, Ange. Thanks for joining. Why are people afraid? Oh, that's right, because they do what the TV tells them to do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And that kid gets it.
Yeah, it seemed like it. Didn't seem like he was reading. I could be wrong. Whatever. Anyways, it really is that simple. We don't need taxes because other countries tariff us, so we can tariff them back.
Mm-hmm. Reciprocal.
Yeah, reciprocal. Something that's been talked about forever and a day, but for some reason it never just happened. Why? Wow, simple solutions haven't been instituted.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder why.
Exactly.
I can't wait till all these people are gone. I can't wait till all of these people are in prison. I can't wait till all of these people have to live the way they wanted everybody else to live.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he's a smart kid helps out a lot too.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah.
How about some Craig?
All right, Craig Groeschel's awesome.
Let's listen.
We should.
If you ever find yourself doubting or struggling just a little bit, it shows us doubting doesn't make you bad. It makes you human. It makes you human. Like you're flawed and we're broken and we are tainted by sin, pursuing a good and a loving God.
Thoughts?
I mean, we're broken. We just have to come to the realization. We have to be honest about the fact that we're broken and that we need him to save us.
Yeah.
It takes a long time to figure that one out. I know I did. I know, Lord knows I took all the time trying to figure that out, that I was broken, that I needed his help. But the good thing is he allows us to change and he helps us change. And we just have to be willing to accept it. And it's amazing. Yeah.
Thank you, Angie.
Thank you, Angie. Appreciate that.
You
Thanks.
ready?
Yeah. There's not a whole lot to add to what he said there.
I know. You ready?
Yeah.
Can you read that, please?
Oh, God, this clown. Mark Cuban is the latest leftist to lash out at Democrats and their strategies.
Let's listen.
I don't like listening to him.
I know.
Mark Cuban, no friend of Donald Trump. I think we could say he's a pretty fair critic, right? Here he is going after Democrats, saying that they can't sell their own message.
The Democrats can't sell where Donald Trump can sell. You know, if you gave the Democrats a dollar bill and said, you can sell these for 50 cents, they would hire 50 people to decide if they really, to try to figure out how to do it, and then would not know how to sell a dollar bill for 50 cents. If you gave it to Donald Trump and said, sell this dollar bill for $2, he'd figure out a way, right? He'd tell you that $2 bill is, is huge.
Okay, so to your point then, KiII, they're going to have to sell this.
Right.
Ultimately, and they're going to have to convince people that it's effective in what they're doing.
And there's such a dearth of fresh ideas. I'm just struck. He's exactly right. Chuck Schumer thought that he came up with the general thrust of the 2026 message as outlined in Politico, and it was about the reconciliation bill going through Congress. And here it is. The Republican goal is to give billionaire buddies a tax break and have you, the American people, pay the cost. That's 2016 Bernie Sanders. I mean, we've heard this before. They need something fresh. It's the same old tired talking points.
Thoughts?
All right. So, yeah, they have to sell it. That's something that they forgot, is that they have to sell it to the people. See, they got so used to just telling the people. But it's easy to tell people when you have, trillions of dollars at your disposal. But now you actually have to work for it. And you have to do it the way that it should be done, which is, okay, I have an idea. I have a proposal. Let me present this to you. And I think that this is how it will make things better. And people will listen, which is the part that they forgot, is that people actually listen to the crap that comes out of their mouth. And people will have to make that determination as to whether or not they like that idea. Problem is everybody on the far left has been so used to not having to come up with anything that's actually a good idea, and is only been required to talk about, how Kool-Aid's going to be coming out of the water fountains at school. And people bought that crap. Well, it takes a little bit more than that now, because so many people have felt that pain of living the way that they've been telling us that is supposed to be so much better. Go socialism. Yeah, for some reason, socialism hasn't been working even here in the United States, because everybody knows that they all say, well, we can do it better here because America. No, it doesn't work. It takes out the actual human character and nature, and you end up with the America that we have now. So, yeah, let's just go back to the founding principles and everything will be fine. And that's the thing is that's all President Trump has been selling. The right way to do it. They can't understand that, because they can't understand anything that they didn't think up isn't the best idea on the planet.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, let's listen. This guy is talking about Biden's pardons.
Yeah, those.
Yeah.
I don't even think they're legal.
Let's listen.
Guess whose pardons didn't stick? All 89 of Biden's preemptive pardons, they just got thrown out by the super liberal judge in the 9th district. Yeah, you can't pardon people for crimes that they haven't been charged with yet. Uh-oh. That's not looking good for you sneaky snake fucks. You know what we might get to do? Oh, that's right. We're going to get some of this shit. These motherfuckers, like, they fucked around and they're going to find out. But you know who hasn't figured it out yet? A bunch of rhino fucking Republicans that put forth a spending bill of $7 trillion. We're cutting the fat here, you fucking corrupt bastards. Thank God for Rand Paul, Clay Higgins, and a bunch of other Republicans. They have said, no, we're not voting for that shit. And they're like, oh, but we only got 18 days or it's going to shut down the government. Shut it down. Shut it down. You motherfuckers are just up to no good anyway. It's all just a big old fucking con job. Like, what in the fuck have they not figured out yet? Like, fucking $7 trillion fucking dollars. And $1 trillion of it, evidently, doesn't even have, like, any accounting for it. And, like, oh, dude, just figure it the fuck out. Speaking of figuring shit out, Trump had to explain to everybody that the email that went out of tell me what you did last week, it's always a chess game. They're not trying to figure out what you did last week. They're trying to find the fucking ghost. Evidently, just like Social Security, a bunch of fucking dead people are still getting salaries from the fucking government. So they're figuring if you don't email back because you're dead, then we don't have to continue to pay you. That's what that is. It's two parts. That, and they said some of these government workers, they're doing so little work they don't even check their email. So that'll fix that too. Yeah. We're gonna just fix the glitch. You get it? You get it? And you know what else? I thought everybody else knew. I thought everybody was aware that Epstein was a big old blackmail ring for Israel. Like, am I the only one? I can't be the only one. I thought everybody knew that. Yeah. There's Epstein, Steen, who those people are? Yeah. Mossad, dude. I mean, even fucking Maxwell. That was, Jesus. I thought it was fucking obvious, but yeah. There you go. Telling you obvious shit. Epstein, working for Israel. There you go. Let's get that fucking list out there, and then everybody can wake up to the reality of who is not our greatest ally. Yeah. Good luck to you all. Long live the Republic.
Thoughts?
All right. So everything he said there makes a lot of sense to me. I'm looking forward to the finding out phase of all of this. And it's still kind of the FO in part. But I agree with him that it's being done chess, not checkers, in terms of the way we're going about doing things. That's why the lists haven't been let out, the Epstein list or the Diddy list. All of this information is going to be carefully curated as to how it is released to the American public, so that way it gets the greatest amount of effect. And that effect will change the way people view things moving forward. Again, we're still trying to wake these people up that just don't quite get it yet, that don't understand. Even though we have a large majority of the people of this country who support President Trump, there's still enough rabble rousers out there that think that their uber socialist Marxian kind of ways is still a little bit better, but they're finding out that they're out in the middle of the field all alone and nobody likes what they have to say. But the arrests are going to happen. It's just going to take a little bit of time because it's a slow play. And I know I'm getting frustrated with it too, because there's a lot of things that I would like to see change in this country that desperately need to change. But
it really does need to change, but things are getting so much better every single day.
The foundations are being built. You can't build a house from the roof down. You got to build it from the foundation up. And right now, all we're seeing is the foundation. And that foundation is looking pretty solid to me. And that's the part that really matters.
Mm-hmm. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's listen.
All righty.
And you see Republicans all over the country. And no, Jesse, these are not plants that are showing up at their town halls.
I never said that.
But you were
You're
thinking
about
that.
to. Okay, so I headed you off. They were actually people who worked at the CDC in Rich McCormick's district, but people
Democrats.
are showing up in Oklahoma, in Arkansas,
Democrats.
Pennsylvania, Missouri, Wisconsin, and they're saying what's going on at DOGE is unacceptable. And are you kidding me with these Medicaid cuts? And you see Republicans all over the country. And no, Jesse.
Thoughts?
It's got to be tough to be her on the 5 right now.
It really does. Yeah.
People just don't like the way things were ran. I guess somebody has to be there to try to die on the hill. I guess, even though it's like the world's worst hill, but hey, it's the one y'all chose. And if supporting government corruption is your jam, then go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
The people are sick and tired of it. 7 out of 10 people are believe that everything that they do in the government is rife with fraud, waste, and abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we would like to know, because we know that nothing's getting better. Nothing has been getting better despite all of the promises. Now we're actually seeing promises come to fruition, and it looks like things are changing.
Exactly.
And it's showing in the numbers. The thing that's had
and that's what's upsetting them is the fact that what Trump said he was going to do, he's doing.
Well, yeah, that's why they would continue to say it, yet never did anything about it, because they all had their hand in the cookie jar.
Mm-hmm. And they hate the fact that he can't be bought.
Well, no, he can't be bought, and he's changing things. And the numbers that are showing more than anything else right now are the immigration numbers. But that's the one thing that's had the chance to have the most amount of change provided to it. Tom Homan was in there right away. You know, how long has RFK Jr. been in there? Not very long now. Cash has been in there for, what's today, Tuesday? Yeah, second full day.
Yeah.
It's going to take a little bit of time for these things to happen, but they're happening.
They are happening.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing what the FBI is doing in about a month.
Exactly. It's
That should
going to
be
be
fun.
amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be. This is the fun part.
Yes.
Almost there.
Yeah. Are you ready?
At least the popcorn's tasting better now.
It really is. It really is.
Maybe it's non-GMO popcorn.
Could be.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Maybe RFK saved us from the popcorn Monsanto fairy.
Yeah. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Can you read that, please?
Caroline Leavitt celebrates the AP's loss in court.
Let's listen.
Oh, poor AP.
I know.
Maybe you shouldn't be such propaganda.
I know. Let's listen.
And the winning continues here at the White House every day. Today, a federal judge right here in Washington, D.C., denied the Associated Press's emergency request for a temporary restraining order to restore their privilege of returning to the White House press pool. And the judge's denial of the Associated Press's request reinforces what I said from the podium last week and what President Trump has been saying. Covering the American presidency in the most intimate and limited spaces in this White House, in the Oval Office, on the Air Force One, is a privilege. It is not a legal right. And we want all voices to have that opportunity. And that's why we've expanded the James S. Brady briefing room to invite truly legitimate, independent journalists, podcasters, and other media types into that room to cover this president with honesty and accuracy and with real mindfulness of what the American people actually care about.
Thoughts?
All right, so the winning continues to happen. And you know what? The AP can suck it. They haven't been telling anything that's actual news in forever and a day. And if I remember correctly, when they were going through all those USAID things, that AP was getting money from them, if I remember correctly. So that means that they were literally just a Pravda. Well, what's that about? Why should they be allowed to be in if all they ever were was just a mouthpiece for the people that were paying them? How is that going to help out the American people, and why should they be around? And why is any press organization permanently allowed? What are you? Was this the freaking UN, and it's part of the P5? You're Russia, China, US, France, and who am I? Oh, the UK? No, you're the AP. You're just press. You pay people to bring you the news, and you also tell them what they should be saying. Plenty of articles out there about that. So yeah, don't care that you're not allowed in there. And apparently even the court system says that they don't care about your whining either, because people are still getting the news from the president. So it's not like they got a press blackout. How many people were able to see Biden, period?
Right.
Without some kind of direct interaction with the press, working with the president beforehand to make sure that he wasn't surprised by anything and that he had the proper notes in hand to say all the talking points. That's who the AP is, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, I don't want you around. You're not a news organization.
Yeah.
Hey, Vixen, how you doing?
Nice of you to join us.
Yep, thanks for joining. Chop says, if it requires the labor of others, it's not a human right. Amen.
Amen.
That's not a right. That's a requirement for other people.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's listen.
I had an encounter with the Holy Spirit. I got out of jail. I still didn't live a Christian lifestyle. Still wasn't a Christian. Still was chasing money, women, pills, and all that. So the seed was planted in me from my cellmate. What watered the seed was my friend, Nero. He was a drug dealer. He was serving drugs. And the girl that he was serving drugs to, she got on the phone and said, hey, yeah, I'm with him right now. Okay, yeah, you want to get something? Hey, I got somebody else who want to buy something from you. He said, bet. Bring him through. She get out the car, somebody come and shoot his car up, and he's shot. After he gets shot, he drive off to the nearest house to go get help. He get on the phone with his mom and said, Mom, I'm dying, I just got shot. I heard the phone call. I got to listen to the phone recording. She said, you better call on Jesus, call on Jesus, call on Jesus. She lost her son to the streets already. He lost a brother to the streets already. This dude is a drug dealer, bro. He wasn't a holy man. He wasn't a righteous man. He was a womanizer, a hoe, serving drugs to people that don't help people. He tried to walk to the nearest house. After he get out of his car, so much blood on the scene. He get on his knees. He couldn't walk no more. He said, Jesus, forgive the shooter and forgive me for my sins. When they got to him, he was pronounced dead. There was no life in his body. They took him to the hospital. He was back into his body. They thought it was a ghost. They ran. They said, it's a miracle. You're not supposed to be alive right now. Do you know what he told me? He said, where I just was, I want to be back. After he told Jesus, come into my heart, forgive me for my sins. After he took his last breath on earth, God allowed him to be in heaven. And he was sharing with me everything that he saw in the spiritual realm. This life here is temporary. Have you ever thought to yourself, why do I die? You ever thought to yourself? As a kid, dog, I'm like, why do I have to die? It's not fair for me to experience joy with my friends and family and then I forget. It's not fair that I experience this life and then what? I just vanish? It's no more John? I'm just gone? That's not fair. As a kid, I thought that. Well, you know what? That's because it's truth to it. We don't just vanish. We was never supposed to die. Sin brought death. When you go out there and you see a tree with no leaves, that's death. That wasn't like that before sin came. When you go out there and see the grass rotting and all the brown in the grass, that's death. That was never in the world. When my friend got shot and died, he continued living. But the only reason why he continued to live is because he said, Jesus, forgive me for my sins. Before he took his last breath, he got to live. When your spirit leave your body, you're going to be dead or alive. Death is separated from your creator. He got to be united with his creator because he said, Jesus, forgive me for my sins. What he was doing on this earth was wrong. It was wrong. But his mom said, hey, if you about to die, you better call on Jesus. And he did that. And Jesus said, I forgive you for your sins. What he was sharing with me and what he saw is what truly made me give my life to Christ. Even after I had my own encounter. Because I said, one day I'm going to take my last breath. And if I'm going to take my last breath, then I need to make sure that I'm going to continue living. Because my brother, my friend who I actually know, played ball with, hoop with, at his house with, who I witnessed, now shot, pronounced dead, heard the voice recording, said he'd rather be back where he was than to be on his earth with his wife and kids. I believe that.
Thoughts?
Goes to show you, it doesn't matter what you look like, what you went through. The whole Bible is a story of redemption, of people that shouldn't have been called based off of our human understanding, yet those were the ones who were called to spread the word. I think that this is this is one of the beautiful things about finding our faith with our Creator, because we recognize that He loves all of His children. And we can take that to the extreme that He loves all of His children. And that includes the ones that went to Epstein Island and the Diddy parties and stuff like that. In which case, that forces us to really look at the world in a different way. You know, it's hard to pray for Hillary Clinton. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, that's where we have to get ourselves to be. And it is a tremendous challenge. But I also know how challenging I was in years before. And I was given so much grace. And I'm surprised that, you know, worse stuff didn't happen to me in my life. And so I am grateful because I recognize that the Father forgave me, and the Father forgives anybody, especially when they choose Him over the lifestyles that we had chosen because we didn't understand what this world was about. You know, what He had as a child is a very simple question. Why do we have to die? That's a good question. And it's a question that I think that you find the answer to as you go on your journey with God. And if we don't understand it because we're not around the people that can help us see things in a different way, it says more about how society needs more people to wake up. But I think that we had to go so far into the darkness like we did, to the point where we were on the verge of having Kamala Harris as our president, if enough people didn't start turning to God, that, you know, we found the amount of darkness that we were comfortable with, and now we're gravitating towards the light. But that's exactly what the story of God and our relationship with Him is all about. We can't understand how great the light is until we've wallowed around in that darkness for a period of time. And so again, count it all joy, because it is a reason to rejoice. Because yeah, all that stuff sucked before, but think about how much more beautiful it's going to be, and how much relief there will be as we continue to claw our way out of the darkness that we have been in. The only thing that we have to do, though, is make sure that we are turning to God. We are running to the cross every single time, you know, we're having troubles or issues or whatever. We got to make sure that we're going to God. And those are the things that help deliver us from all of these problems. They're still very present and around the world, and even in our own neighborhoods. So count it all joy, because we will all have such a deep understanding of how bad the dark was and how much worse it could have been, that we will fight even harder to make sure that the light is what we focus on.
I agree.
Mike says heaven is a beautiful place. I believe that, sir.
Amen.
I believe
sir.
that. As long as that feeling of love is there, how bad could it really be?
Yes.
True love.
Yes. You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you read that, please?
Joe Rogan's breakdown of toxic Girl Scout cookies might make you rethink your purchase.
Let's listen.
Why the hell are you buying those woke ass cookies anyway? Well, but we'll go as to, hey, surprise, surprise, there's a whole bunch of chemicals in that crap you probably don't want.
Let's listen.
Studies on Girl Scout cookies where they break them down and find out what's in them. Oh, holy shit. They're fucking toxic as fuck. Thin Mints being the worst offenders. 5 flavors of Girl Scout cookies contained, back up, contained levels of glyphosate and heavy metals above EPA water safety limits. New investigation found 100% of tested Girl Scout cookies contained glyphosate, 100%. Controversial herbicide and Roundup, 88% contained toxic metals like arsenic, lead, and mercury. Key finding, Thin Mints had the highest glyphosate levels at 111.07 ppb, 334 times what experts say is harmful. Peanut butter patties had the highest heavy metal contamination, with lead reaching 42.5 ppb and aluminum at 27,500 ppb, ppm. 76% of cookies tested exceeded cadmium safety limits, and 96 contained lead.
That's wild.
Girl Scout USA, which sells 200 million boxes per year, $800 million in revenue, did not respond to researchers before publication. I wonder why.
Respond.
I wonder why. I wonder why they wouldn't chime in like they've done.
Thoughts?
Isn't that weird? Surprise, surprise, a woke company has all the poisons inside of it.
By the way, I have recipes for most of the Girl Scout cookies that you can make so much better.
Tell me this. And I'm sure that they would be significantly better if you made
I'm
them.
sure.
They'd probably taste a little less heavy metally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, so is it a surprise that the most popular cookie is the worst one out of all of them? The Thin Mints? Every time I've ever heard anybody do orders, and when you're around that little group of people when it's time to order the Girl Scout
Chachi.
cookies, it's only once a
No,
Oh,
sir.
come on, Chachi.
Don't do that.
It's only once a year. Make your own. You can have them year round.
Exactly.
We can't support that. Look, I understand that we're supporting kids and stuff like that. It's not
I
about
will,
the
Jenny.
kids. As a matter of fact, it's keeping the kids from being used as pawns to poison the rest of the planet is why you shouldn't be buying them. Now, that doesn't make it any easier to kind of duck on by the Girl Scouts because the girls don't know any better for the most part. I mean, some of them have woke ass parents, but this goes to show that parents need to take more active role in terms of what the kids are doing because this isn't helpful. It's not helpful when they are abusing everybody's children and everybody else who buys the cookies in support of those kids doing something that, you know, that spirit of what's the word I'm looking for here? When you go out and you try to make some money, the words are hard. Yeah, I know you've been reading. So you haven't been.
Yeah, I was reading comments. I apologize.
Anyway, whatever. It's evil what they're doing.
It is.
Liberty Death says Trump just yanked Jack Smith lawyers' clearances. That's funny. Yeah.
Winning.
Yeah, that is winning.
And Chachi, Aaron's got a point. AIDS is only once a year.
Stop.
Can't do this, guys. See? Liberty, or just buy the cookies and throw them in the trash if you really want to help the Girl Scouts. But they're so woke now. Why would you want to?
Because you're supporting the kids that are being resourceful. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
But they're being groomed.
Well, that's part of it. They're also being taught how to be woke, and they're also being taught that, hey, people don't give a shit about their health, that they'll be willing to fill their bodies with all of the heavy metals simply because you throw a kid in the way.
Right.
There's other lessons.
I know.
And there's probably other places that would be more beneficial to children than the Scouts.
Yeah.
Just a guess.
Yes.
But I do love winning. Yes.
Me too, Dawn. You ready?
Exactly, Aaron. Alternatives, people.
Yes. Ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Can you read that, please?
Jeffrey Epstein survivor Juliette Bryant shares a chilling account.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's listen.
The kind of cloning DNA part that he was obviously transhumanism that he was interested in. Did that come up anywhere? Did you see any signs?
Well,
I mean, obviously there's scientists.
I'm just going to put it out there right now. I woke up in a laboratory there one night.
Wow.
You know, these are the things I haven't wanted to talk about because it's frightening. But there were scientists there, you know, and I woke up one night in a laboratory, paralyzed and naked on a table. I would like to be lie detected on this. You know, there are other weird things that I saw. We'll talk about more later. But these people were doing something else, and they don't want anyone knowing about it. And I came back from there, I was not okay. I had severe panic attacks. I was hospitalized 10 times with panic attacks. And I'd been a very, very healthy, happy girl before I was taken there. They did something to me, and I want to know what they did. And that's why I won't stop until I know.
Hey, JD.
Thoughts?
All right. Not a surprise. With all of the evil stuff that we've heard about Epstein and the island in general, it's no surprise.
It hurts my heart to hear that kind of stuff.
But it needs to be exposed.
I know.
And sadly, people need to understand how dark this world really is and the people who've been running it. If these stories don't come out, then we don't have the ability or chance to save the world from the very crimes that are happening there.
It's just so hard to hear.
Of course, it's hard to hear. It needs to be hard to hear. And everybody needs to hear it so that way they can open their hearts for a change.
Yeah.
We need to know what's going on. We need to know what happened. But that's also the same reason why it's taken so long for the foundation to be built, because it's got to be a rock solid foundation built on rock.
And
we can't just
let
have it.
We can't let this go on cruise control ever again.
No.
We can't.
The people have to have their eyes peeled open and shown that it's not just about getting, some people high as can be at a Diddy party, and that it's something such that it is something that is so sinister, so dark that people can't even comprehend that level of darkness. Most people's level of darkness is based off of whatever they see on TV, and they watch, like 300 or something and think they're going to go kick the world's ass. That's where most people are at. But when people recognize what's actually been happening over on Epstein Island and all of these other places, then people will say, oh my God, there is a real problem. And just like the Bible says, and a child shall lead them, it's not one child from my perspective. It's everybody, every parent's child. As they look at their child, that is what's going to lead them, because they don't want their children or grandchildren, whoever it is that they care about, that precious, sweet, innocent child that everybody loves in their own little life. That is the child that will lead us to creating this world together through love that will stop these kinds of they're beyond crimes. I don't even know what to call them.
I know.
It's anyway, something else. Randoon says the Girl Scouts just went by a minute ago delivering them.
Hey, Randoon, by the
Hey,
way.
Randoon, what's going
Glad
on?
you're here. It's just.
I do like the idea of just giving them money.
I do too. But I mean, the back
The Girl
to
Scouts, not the
Saki and back
Saki
to
and back to
the
the
last video.
Yeah.
It's just so hard because what they went through was horrific. And how many years of counseling is it going to take?
Those wounds will never heal.
Yeah.
I don't believe that those wounds will ever heal. And if you believe in reincarnation, then that would be the kind of thing that'd stick around for the next one as well. I can't comprehend. And I wouldn't even have the foggiest of ideas as to how to be there for somebody who went through that. They are some of the strongest people we have on this planet that were able to survive these god awful situations. And the best thing we can do for them is to make sure that it stops and that it's not going to happen again, and until the last breath has gone out of the last human being who was alive during this time. Hey, Dark Sage. Greetings. Currently overseas in Berlin. Thank the Lord the elections here are over. I could imagine.
Yeah. Thank you for joining.
Yes, and thank you very much for joining.
Yeah. You ready?
Yes, I am.
Can you read that, please?
Ron DeSantis pushes to end property taxes in Florida.
You ready?
Yes.
Let's listen.
All right.
Subject their citizens to higher taxes, such as higher property taxes, to pay for these spending habits. And these property taxes, it's like you buy a home, you buy land, maybe you buy the home outright, but maybe you pay off a mortgage over 30 years. And then, okay, you've paid off the mortgage, you bought the land, you've been taxed many times. It's like, is it your property or not? Just for being on your property, you got to write a check to the government every year. So you're basically paying rent to the government to live on your own property. And our homestead exemption is not strong enough to help these folks because the property gets assessed so high. And that's the thing. If you buy a home for $300,000 and there's certain tax, well, then what? 10 years later, they say it's worth $700,000. And so, and they say, there's homestead stuff that helps protect you to a certain extent, but you're paying more. And a lot of people can't afford that. So I think that that's a big issue. And I know we're going to be really looking at ways to bring people relief from that, because I think it's been really something that's pinching a lot of homeowners, particularly seniors on fixed income. But the reality is people have seen, and this is not the state, we don't control this, you know, we've not allowed any of that stuff to happen. We've been cutting taxes, but people have seen their property tax liability go up over these last years because the property is being assessed higher and higher. And the reality is you don't really know how much your home is worth until someone offers you money and is willing to pull the trigger on a sale. That's how a market works. You can say it's worth this much, but if no one's willing to come and offer you that much, then why should you pay taxes on that amount? And so there's a lot of things that need to be done with that. But as part of our DOGE initiative, our state task force will look into local government expenditures by utilizing publicly.
Thoughts?
Seems like people aren't fans of property taxes in addition to their income taxes. But I mean, when you're taxed on working and you're taxed on living and you're taxed on eating, and so you can't even live without the government's permission, I don't know if the government really cares about any of us living, especially when they've been wasting all of our money. It's something that really needs to be reconsidered, because if we are a free people, then why are we paying to have a place to live? See, we kind of lost the whole concept about what being a citizen is. And a lot of that is being used against us through the tax system. Taxation is theft, plain and simple.
It really is.
It is stealing from people. And that needs to change. I think that...
I mean, okay, you make money. You get taxed. You spend that money. You get taxed. You buy something long term, your
Like a
car,
house.
your house, you get taxed every year on that. So, I mean, how many times is enough for all these taxes?
When they've spent all of the money.
Uh-huh.
That's when enough is enough. When they can't spend any more, because there's nothing left. That's where we got to finally, because people finally figured out that, hey, the money might be getting wasted.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so now the pendulum has to swing back, and we'll be tax free for a while, but I'm sure it won't be long before taxes are back again, because how long was it after Andrew Jackson before the federal income tax came about?
I know.
Steph says, and our school board is wanting to weasel their way out of our home exemption tax. And the people in our town are pissed, and we're fighting them. They let us vote in November, now trying to take it. They're going to try to get money anyway, anyhow they can.
Yeah.
Especially since the coffers are getting shut off, or since the spigot's getting shut off from the big free money pipeline that they had. Now they got to find new and exciting ways to tax me harder, daddy.
Yeah.
And they don't understand that the people are done.
Yeah.
Especially as all of the corruption and graft is figured out in the bluest of blue states. I'm going to say that people are going to demand a DOGE for their own state.
Well,
and
Florida's already doing it. Georgia's already doing it.
Yeah.
They're already doing DOGE.
And the precedent
that's what
is set.
Chachi's talking about.
Yeah. He says, I'm thinking DOGE is going to hit the states next.
Yeah. Florida,
100%.
DeSantis said today he's setting up a DOGE committee to check out the wasteful spending in Florida. Georgia's already doing it.
I look forward to when Nevada does it. I
We're
trust
so
our
far
governor.
away.
Think about it. Think about the way it would work out here. The governor is in pretty decent with President Trump. He got Trump's support, and he got the spot. And I believe that that auditing the books here in Nevada would certainly be eye-opening for so many people, and the amount of corruption that may or may not exist here in the state of Nevada would certainly pin people in corners they never thought that they were going to be pinned into. Hell, we might even be able to change the name of an airline or an airport back to McCarran from some other name that they put on there.
That I'll never say.
Yeah, screw that guy. Anyways, Mike says at 65 years ago, you shouldn't have to pay any taxes. Yeah,
At 65 years.
At 65 years old, yeah, you shouldn't have to pay taxes. I just don't know if we should pay taxes, period.
Yeah, exactly.
It worked just fine without taxes before.
Yeah.
And with as big as the American economy is, and the amount of people, the amount of crap that people import from all these other nations, I don't see why there can't be plenty of money to go around for all the people that need products from everywhere else other than actual Americans.
Yeah.
And says transhumanism is scary. That's why I worry about Musk. Yeah, I know. I think that the kibosh will be put on that. I think that that's one of those things that's going to help wake people up. And if we do have some, transhumanism kind of crap going on, yeah, we got some rough days ahead of us.
Yeah.
Yet to come.
Yeah. Oh, I know, Steph. I know it wasn't Brian Kemp. I know it was the lieutenant governor. But, anyway, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you read that, please?
Congressman Ralph Norman annihilates government workers' arrogance for fighting DOGE.
I love that. Are you ready?
Yes.
Let's listen.
Price tag that the taxpayers pay is right at $271 billion a year. Is it too much to ask for them to verify why they're making an average salary of $106,000 a year? Do you think in the private sector that single mom who is working 2 jobs at a restaurant can't justify where she was, or the hygienist at the dentist's office can't verify how many patients they saw? The absurdity and I guess the arrogance of the workers who says that's a heavy lift is what's wrong with that's what the Americans are sick and tired of. It's not their money. We're the ones who are paying the bills. We have a right to know.
Thoughts?
How are they getting away with saying that we don't have a right to know? That's what I want to understand, is why would anybody go along with that entire concept? It's your tax money. It's your tax money. Why don't you want to know where it's going? Don't you care what's happening with your money?
Right.
I mean, if you don't, I'm game. Send money this way. If you really care so little about your money, I'm accepting donations. I'll accept donations instead of giving it to the government to do with whatever they want. I guarantee you there'd be a better result if you gave me the same money that you were giving the government. What?
I just put it up there. Thanks for watching. Donations are appreciated.
Oh.
I mean,
this was not an ask for donations.
No, it was a funny.
Yeah, it is pretty funny. But the thing is it's like, why would anybody say that they don't want to know where the money's going? Trillions of dollars. And you don't think anything shady's going on with $1 trillion?
Yeah.
Nothing's going to get hidden. You think it's a bunch of saints that are running this country? Come on. Put your head out your ass.
Basically.
Anyways. Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
How about some Justin?
All right. I could go for some Justin. Yeah.
Let's listen.
All right. I got a legitimate question for you guys. I'm just leaving the gym and I seen a TikTok, and this is a pretty big content creator. He said that when women see men alone, especially when they're in packs, a group of women, they see a guy sitting alone in a restaurant, they see him out and about and he's alone, they view him as incompatible. In other words, it's a weakness. And, I'm like, I'm always alone. I'm always in restaurants alone. Everywhere I go, I'm by myself. And I'm like, is that really how y'all think? Do y'all really think like that? Because my mindset has been that I'm looking for a wife, but I'm going to have a relationship with God to find her. I'm going to have to go through God to find her. And I'm believing for the same thing. But does the world really, this guy's got almost 400,000 followers. And, I'm not debating him. I'm asking a question. Do y'all really see men that are alone like that? Because I live in a town. I don't know anybody. I'm not from here. I don't have high school buddies or anybody. I don't even work here. I work 50 miles away. I don't know anybody in this town. The only people I've learned to know is the people that own the restaurant or run the restaurant that I go to all the time. But that's it. But do y'all women, do y'all really view a man sitting by himself and by himself a lot as weakness, as incompatible, as, a reject? I mean, legit question. Please let me know in the comments.
Thoughts?
What do you think?
I think that's silly. I think that person is probably learning to be with himself and being a better person.
It's possible.
Male or female.
Yeah, just because somebody's
Nothing
alone.
wrong with being alone.
I mean, in
Better
this
to
day
be
and age.
alone. Better to be alone than to
surround
to
yourself.
surround yourself with people who don't mean anything to you and wouldn't care about you for no reason. You know, why?
Yeah.
It's okay to be alone, and it's okay to work on you. It really is.
I think Chachi coined the term that's perfect for this. A freeject.
Right.
Okay, when I see somebody alone, I see somebody, especially if they're going to like a restaurant or something and they're eating by themselves, that takes a lot of self-confidence. You know what? I don't need anybody. I'm just here to eat. I don't need the rigmarole. I don't need to be dealing with whatever they are confident in whatever it is they're doing. I'm not bothered by that. I mean, obviously the individual is going to be putting out the vibes of whatever it is that they're going through in life. And if there's desperation there and they, kind of want the attention, they're trying to look, all like pitiful and everything, then yeah, I mean, it's kind of, like, yeah, you're not helping yourself out. But I mean, if somebody's there and they aren't trying to get any attention, that they're just trying to, eat a meal or something, I don't see anything wrong with that. It's kind of one of those things where it really is dependent upon the individual.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think there's anything wrong. But I can see why that would be considered off-putting, but at the same time, that's making a judgment based off of absolutely almost zero information other than the fact that they're not with anybody at that moment.
Right.
Doesn't mean that they're, like Jeffrey Dahmer.
Mm-hmm.
Just whatever. I don't know. Of course, then again, people are people-y.
They really are.
Steph says, I do it all the time when I'm out and about running errands at my husband, when my husband's at work. Yeah. I mean, I can see that too.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you're doing your own thing. Oh, God forbid people would be, able to do whatever they want without judgment.
Yeah.
I ate alone a few times. I eat out, usually good sushi. I'm there for the delicious food because it's a bit more than
just fuel.
Yeah, there we go.
I mean,
right.
Get over it, people.
People are going to
Those are the people who are afraid to be alone. Those are the people that will stay in a bad relationship or just date whoever just so they don't have to be alone.
Yeah, it probably says more about the individuals that are passing the judgment than the person that's sitting there minding their own damn business.
Mm-hmm.
Mike says, I work out of town. I'm always alone. I mean, it could be a billion reasons. There's 8 billion people on this planet, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's probably 8 billion reasons why somebody would eat alone on any given day.
Aaron, don't you dare throw damn rocks at cats. Cats are amazing. You're going to upset me.
All right. Anyway.
Are you ready?
Yeah, please.
Can you read that, please?
MSNBC legal analyst leaves far left panel emotional while revealing Trump's legal victories.
Let's listen.
They're so emo.
I know.
Over the weekend, I read all these headlines, and the headlines were like, Trump suffers legal blows. Another one was Trump get hit with unexpected loss. Here was one, major DEI legal setback. And I think the concern I have is that people watching those headlines, especially people who don't like Trump, are going to think Trump is getting his butt kicked. And then when he wins, invariably, he's going to win some of these cases. They're going to say, well, what happened to all the butt kicking, right? Yeah. And here's why. These are not major setbacks. First reason, we are at the stay stage. In other words, in almost all of these cases, the court is issuing a stay. That is a pause. By definition, it is not on the merits. Nobody's winning or losing on the merits. They're hitting the pause button until they can decide the case on the merits. And by the way, just like Danielle said, all of this is exhibition games or friendlies, as they say in soccer. They don't count. They don't count until they get to the last court they get to, which in most cases, because they're of unique constitutional issues, is going to be the Supreme Court. So these are not blows to the Trump administration. I don't see them that way. The other thing, and again, Danielle brought this up, the Trump administration totally expects they're going to lose in court a lot. Do you know what it costs to do an executive order? A piece of paper and a Sharpie. That's it. And they can go right back to the drawing board. One of these courts said, hey, the language was too vague. You know what that tells them? Just go draft another one. It's not like legislation where you need a bunch of people to agree on something. It is a pen and a piece of paper, and that's it. And here's the other thing. You could look at this as the headlines say, Trump losing here and there in court. Here's the way I see it. I'll give you an example. The Ninth Circuit on the the birthright citizenship issue. Yes. The Ninth Circuit just a couple days ago said, no, you don't get a stay. You can't ask us on an emergency basis to overcome the stay at the lower court level. But they were never going to win that. The odds of winning that emergency motion were very slim. The more important message I take away is that the Trump administration wasn't even willing to wait for the, a few weeks or months of a stay on this major piece of administration policy. They don't want to wait. They're going to fight at every single turn. And that means appealing absolutely everything with the knowledge that they're going to lose some of them because it costs them nothing. Executive orders are the easiest thing to issue. So as much as I came here and I thought, well, these headlines really don't tell the whole story. I wonder, Danielle, you might be with me on this to some degree because you made a lot of the points that I had to make. I do not see this as Trump losing over and over and over again. I think the more important, bigger story is that they're not going to stop and they're going to keep fighting at every turn and they are going to win some of these.
Thoughts?
That sucks for them. They sure seem to be upset about it, but
It looked like they were going to cry.
They did look like there were about to be some tears. They needed to go to a commercial break there real soon because it's bad news for them because they don't like the actual news that's going on. But propagandists are propagandists and they can't help it but to sit there and try to control the narrative based off of the way they want to see life. That's the part that they forgot about what journalism is actually supposed to be about. Is it's supposed to be unbiased presentation of the information so that people have the ability to make decisions on their own, as opposed to having a pre-chewed pablum provided to them as if we're baby chicks and they got a barf in our mouths to tell us, how we're supposed to be talking and thinking. That's not what the press is supposed to be. And so the fact that they're all upset doesn't bother me one bit. As a matter of fact, they need to be crying uncontrollably on TV as they figure out that nobody likes them, nobody trusts them, and we only believe that they're just there to try to enslave us. Or to keep us enslaved.
Santino, I'm not sure they even know what journalism is anymore.
Well, they went to some woke you and were told that this is what journalism is. But yeah, the mockingbird media is just another way of having an American Pravda. That's not. So yeah, be butthurt, please be butthurt, and every single time you lose one of these cases because of a corrupt judge that was put in by Biden or Obama or Bush or whoever it is, you might think that they have your back, but it doesn't mean that it's gonna stick. And that was another part that cut straight to the bone for them was the fact that this is just preliminary. Everything that these people are talking about now doesn't matter because it has no bearing whatsoever on what happens in the future. Because they may have been able to shut down all of the lawsuits that were brought against the courts against the government with the fact that the election was stolen from President Trump the last time around.
Because he's won 3 times.
He's won 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to be the same.
Yeah.
You don't have the court system like you think you have the court system, because even those corrupt judges can see that the winds have changed, and that if you keep going the same way you've been going, it's going to only get worse. So yeah, keep doing what you're doing, and I'm sure it'll work out smashingly for you.
Smashingly.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you read that, please?
Peter St Onge says, the more media attacks DOGE, the more popular it gets.
Let's listen.
That's the way it's been working. The more they attack, the more people pay attention to the people getting attacked.
Yeah, because they're like, why are they attacking this? Let me research into this, blah, 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 blah.
I will say that's been the biggest victory out of all of this, is more and more people are starting to do their own damn research.
Yes. Let's listen.
All right.
The Department of Government Efficiency is rising in the polls with all-important swing voters. This despite left-wing media attacking DOGE's anti-corruption crusade with everything they've got, and yet DOGE is getting more popular among the American people, while Donald Trump is running about 10 points more popular than last time around, in case media wonders if they've lost their power to hypnotize the voters. In a recent video, I mentioned a December CBS poll that found support for Trump's economic policies is off the charts. 2/3 of Americans want regulations cut, 2/3 want oil drilling expanded, and here's where DOGE comes in. 3/4 of Americans want government spending cut, while 3/4 also want tax cuts. Those go hand in hand. Now, keep in mind that was all before DOGE hit the corruption motherlode, the transgender comic books in Peru, the Politico subscriptions, the hundreds of millions to the Taliban's Sesame Street in Iraq. Now, the media had been running interference, trotting out their knee-jerk, without evidence line to claim Elon is making it all up. Of course, this is hilarious considering the federal government itself, as in the CBO and GAO, have long estimated up to $500 billion in waste and fraud. Toss in another $400 billion in fraud during COVID between PPP and ERTC handouts. Roughly 1/3 of the EITC, which goes to the working poor, is estimated fraud. This was all long before Elon, who is now finding the receipts, the evidence for the New York Times. When Americans are watching, while manipulated polls try and manufacture anti-DOGE rage, a recent CBS poll says nearly 3/4 of American voters want Elon to have, quote, influence over government operations and spending. This includes 90% of Republican voters and even a majority of Democrats. Meanwhile, left-wing media was in a panic last week as Axios ran a focus group in Arizona that found swing voters overwhelmingly approve of DOGE. In fact, it had 80% support, even with the 24/7 gaslighting from our apparently deep state-funded media. Now, this all bodes well for DOGE's mission of cutting federal spending, hence cutting inflation, getting rid of mandates and regulations so the economy can grow, and ending the corruption that funds the radical left. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. A number of Democrat strategists have warned that Dems are committing political suicide by fighting DOGE instead of joining it. But they have to defend the industrial-scale corruption because it's what runs their entire operation. The radical activists, the nationwide riots, the lawfare industrial complex, the billionaires pawning unicorn farts. All of it, your tax dollars. In short, the Democrat Party has become protected by corrupt media for so long, it has lost touch with voters and aligned itself with donors, now finds itself defending the indefensible. There's still a big chunk of the country hypnotized by legacy media, but when 3/4 support DOGE, the spell is breaking. There was a time when the Democrat Party was rational. Bill Clinton, for example, ran on strong border security, getting the able-bodied off welfare, and reducing government spending to balance the budget, which are all very popular among actual voters. Alas, the party today is unrecognizable, turned into a vehicle to defend corruption, illegals, activists, and Ukraine while leaving North Carolina, Florida, and America's inner cities to die. Now, sane Dems are already flipping to Trump. In fact, some of them are named Kennedy, Rogan, and Elon. But the party needs another couple shellackings before it sobers up and starts listening to voters again. A new episode of the podcast just dropped, rounding up all of last week's stories. Check it out at
Thoughts.
All right. So It says that people following the media is breaking. 75%, they're broken. People don't care anymore.
80%.
Or 80%. Yeah, people, nobody pays attention to them. Everybody wants DOGE to find all of the corruption. And it's becoming more and more apparent every single day that corruption is being run by the very people who are attacking Elon Musk. Obviously, there's going to be the faithful, idiots out there, or excuse me, the way the socialists say, the useful idiots are still going to be out there parroting the talking points. And even then, some of those fools are waking up. I look forward to the arrests and the perp walks.
Too.
I'm just here for the perp walks.
Is that all you want to see?
Well, I mean, for now.
For now.
Things could change.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I've got Sassy, and he's going to go over all the winning.
Okay, earmuffs.
Earmuffs. Let's listen.
All right.
We have to win every day. I'm not complaining. Legacy media is floundering. MSNBC host Joey Reid, host is toast. Host of the Read Out, just been axed, fired. You're fired. Get out. Get out. Get out. I love this for her. She went from the Read Out to get the fuck out. There's far left. Then there's out in left field. That's where the ladies off The View live. Cancel them next. And then there's people like Joey Reid, who tells people to avoid their family for the holidays. On the plus side, you can spend time with yours now. Refers to white people as mayonnaise sandwiches, who lost her shit over Mark Zuckerberg, who said Trump being shot was all a conspiracy. Well, you got all the time in the world to delve into that. Hoey Reid. Gee, I can't see why she got fired. Who are they going to replace her with? Possibly Circle Back Carl. Circle Backy Jim Pasaki. Oh, Lord. You just might as well go ahead and cut the electric off to MSNBC. Just turn the whole studio into like a chicken farm or something. You ain't going to be able to pay for the floor residents in that bitch. Their ratings have plummeted to hell and stayed there. They've gotten sued 5,100 times. Because if they breathe in, they lying. They just lost a $30 million lawsuit for fucking defamation against the doctor, calling him a uterus collector on live fucking TV. That turned out to be false, as evidenced by their mouth is open, lies are coming out. Now they're broke as shit. They just had to cut people's pay. Rachel Maddow just lost $5 million just so she could stay there. You know Maddow, yeah. I dare you talk about Republican women the way they look. I dare you. All of this comes as a result of the sinking ship that MSNBC is right now. One president went out, another president came in. And to try to save MSNBC, Joey Reid had to go. Her ratings got cut in half the last 2 months. Let me give you a little context here for how bad legacy media is doing. Joy Reid's viewership went down to about 30,000 a day. I get more than that on almost all my videos. Some days, I get more views than all of MSNBC combined. And I am one small creator. You're done. You're done.
Thoughts?
Oh, Sassy, he's so funny. You know, it's these kinds, it's that last statement that really sticks with me, is there's creators who have a lot more people like Sassy that show up every single day. They'd be better off firing the clowns that they have and bringing on some of these TikTokers because they'll bring a larger viewing audience with them. Absolutely amazing. But I think that these people, and I see what you're saying there, Aaron, if people would stop even talking about them, they go away. I don't think that's the case, though. I think that they're being force-fed down the American people's throats. So that way, one, they can embarrass these people. Same thing that we're seeing with Fang Fang's lover, whatever the hell his name is.
Eric Swalwell.
Yeah, Swalwell. I think it's the same thing that's going on with them as they get kind of launched. And then the whole Psaki thing.
Oh,
whatever.
my gosh.
Jeez, why? Of course, then again, I think that's Zuckerberg, but
yeah,
whatever. Probably never find that one out.
I know.
Chachi says mainstream media probably been fixing their rating scores for the longest time. They can't pull it off no mo. I think that's 100%. Yeah. At what point and where in numbers on TV do we start to actually believe what they're saying? We haven't believed them ever. So why are we going to believe their numbers that they supposedly have on TV? The only reason why I think that there's some truth to those numbers is because there's still people parroting the talking points.
You ready?
Yeah.
Let's listen.
All right.
Real women don't give a damn about your money. She's not impressed by your bank account or the flashy things you can buy. A woman with a true heart values love over all that material crap. She's not looking for lavish parties, big cars, or expensive vacations. She doesn't care if her clothes come with fancy labels or if you can take her around the world. What matters to her is genuine love. What she admires in a man isn't tied to dollars and cents. It's about the values he lives by. His honesty, his loyalty, his integrity. It's about the way he treats her, always putting her first, making sure she knows she's his number one. A real woman looks for a man who can turn her anger into laughter, who understands her like he understands himself, and who respects her without question. She's not interested in a man who's all about himself. She wants the guy who will put her needs before his own, every single time. A woman with a true heart can be made happy with the simplest things. All she needs is to know that she's loved and valued, that she's the one you cherish. If you've got a woman like this in your life, tag her in the comments.
You know, it's so true. It really is.
Does.
It's not about the size of the bank account. It's about how you treat each other. I think it's that doesn't just go for women. That should go for everyone. You know,
100%.
it's about your respect and love for one another. And we need to remember that.
100%. It's relationships in general. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, you know, honor, cherish, respect, love, you know,
Yes.
being there for that individual is what matters. And not putting it on external things that aren't naturally a part of the relationship. It's something we've forgotten. It's part of our TV indoctrination that we feel like, oh, we're, you know, going shopping for a spouse or some shit like that.
Yes.
When in all actuality, it's about, is this person by your side? Does this person, you know, are they there for you in the ways that you need them there? And those are the things that really matter. Liberty Death says real women are an endangered species. Sadly, men too. We've fallen so far, but when society is reorganized back in something that looks a little bit more logical, maybe people will recognize the things that are truly important. And I have a feeling that this awakening that everybody's going through, they're going to be looking around at the world and they're going to say, holy crap, this is the mother or father of my children, and they're here and they're miserable, and I'm miserable, and we're miserable for things that don't matter and things that we have no control over. People will learn to love who they have in their lives. If people would just take a look at the person that's been there for all of those years, they might recognize that it's something worth keeping, provided that you both figure out the reason why you got into the relationship to begin with. That's probably one of the most important things. You two fell in love with each other for a very specific reason. And then you continued to stay around each other and you made the choices to say, you know what? This person's crazy is about as close as I'm going to get to this world around me, that, you know, maybe we should put a ring on it so that way we can keep this thing working. And then life gets in the way, and then you're trying to pay the mortgage, you're trying to pay the car payment, then you got all these problems, and then you have kids, and then you got to pay for all these other things, and you end up forgetting about the things that are truly important, and that's the person that's in the trenches to your left or your right. Remember that these people are in the trenches with you, and that you absolutely love them more than any other human being on the planet at a certain point in time.
Yeah.
Spend some time thinking and feeling on that and recognizing that that was love and that it's still there. It's just looks a little bit different now. And that everything else got in between you and the one you love.
Yeah.
And so it is important to try to reconnect and understand that that person that's in the trenches with you has been there this whole time, is probably the person that you want to go ahead and fight your way out of the trenches as we get through the other side of this great awakening that we've been in, and that the golden age that's upon us would probably be better enjoyed with somebody that you've been around for a long, long time than somebody that you just met and you're trying to figure it out all over again.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't know who that was for, but that's what came out. So,
yeah.
Hope it helps.
You ready?
Yeah.
Let's listen.
All right.
Job. Everybody go read the book of Job. Just read the book of Job. He took everything from Job. He kept snatching everything from Job. And Job, like every Christian that, everybody like, I put so much good into the world. Why so much bad coming to me? He like, you know what? I ain't really been bad to nobody. I just want to talk to him. I want to ask him why. Why he doing this to me? God looked at him and said, who you talking to? Why not you? This is the time for you to praise my name. This is the time for you to tell the other people through the midst of pain, I'm the one that's giving you the strength.
Thoughts?
All right. God is the one that gives us the strength. Yeah, I need to recognize, and this is a difficult thing in life, when you're not quite 100% certain that you have no control over your life, that control is an illusion, and that it is about turning to God. And once you can turn it over to God, and it doesn't mean you sit on your keister and do absolutely nothing. What it actually means is that you get to doing the things that you should have been doing all along, but with the understanding that God is the one making it happen. And that's what makes all the difference in the world.
Absolutely. Are you ready?
Yes.
Let's listen.
All right.
A wise man once said, "If I cannot bend the will of heaven, I shall move hell. Fate will not bow to your wishes. The universe owes you nothing. If the path is blocked, you do not wait for a miracle. You become the miracle. The weak beg for mercy. The strong forge their own destiny." Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire under siege. He did not complain. He endured it. Miyamoto Musashi fought through blood and fire. He did not fear death. He mastered it. Genghis Khan did not ask for a throne. He took it. The gods may not answer your prayers, but they will hear your footsteps. And the universe will whisper, "Do not wait for destiny. Become it."
Thoughts?
Remember, be the miracle. You don't have to keep moving forward in negativity. Move forward in positivity. Know that in the Constitution it says pursuit of happiness. It doesn't say guarantee. So go out there today, tomorrow, for every day you wake up and take that wonderful deep breath and know you've got this. You are a miracle. And each and every one of you give me so much joy every single day. And I can't thank you enough for always being here with us. It wouldn't matter if just one of you showed up. We'd still do this because we love each and every one of you, because you guys are the miracle. Don't forget that. Seasoning?
Y'all are the miracle. That's all I have. That's very good. Very, very, very good. All right, everybody. Well, looks like it's coming to a close for another night, and we look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and Pilled.net.
And if you haven't already, please take a minute and give us that virtual hug. If you're over on Rumble or YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on Pill.net, take that red pill. If you're over on X, smash that heart. And if you're on Facebook, you're our wonderful family. And you got 7 buttons over there. We know you like to push buttons, so head on over there and clickety-click away.
Hit the buttons, everybody. It really helps us out, and we do truly appreciate it. We look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow night. We love you all. Have a great night. Be safe, and God bless each and every one of you.